Well, hello to the Irish Independence League of Ireland reaction video, joined tonight by Dan McDonnell live from Oriel Park, where the mood is pretty good around Dundalk tonight after a home win against champions Shamrock Rovers. I'm here at Richmond Park, and it was the visitors Shelbourne who upset the odds here and beat St. Pat's 1-0, a big derby win for Jerry O'Brien's men. And Dan, I suppose a night where Bows beat Drogheda 2-1, and there was late drama at the RSC. There's lots of talking points out of tonight's games as usual, but I might start with both of our games, and I suppose that the top line from the night is that first and second both lost. Shamrock Rovers missed the chance to extend their lead, and from a Pat's perspective, they missed the chance to possibly go joint top with Rovers.
Yeah. Look, it was a hell of an evening here. I know we'll talk about your game shortly. I think Dundalk have won the last 4 out of the last 5 games against Shamrock Rovers here. And that was even, they even got a win here in 2024 when Dundalk were the shambles. There is a certain sort of magic that sometimes fuels these matches. They tend to get a result or a performance against them. But this was, from a Dundalk perspective, a hell of a result. I mean, just for context here, in the dying stages, they ended up with no recognised centre-half effectively on the pitch, no experienced centre-half. They only started with Harvey Warren, that sort of a reshaped sort of back three almost, with J.R. Wilson in the centre. Harvey Warren got injured later on. J.R. Wilson got sent off when Dundalk were 1-0 up. And just in stoppage time, I mean, it was an absolute barrage. And Enda Minogue, who's been getting a little bit of stick, and maybe some of the local press here, he's had a couple of difficult games since he's replaced Conor Cairns, who's out for the season. But he was sort of being not quite taken off the pitch, and sort of hands on the shoulders of fans, like a sort of the end of a Hollywood movie or something. But not far off it. A brilliant save from Dylan Watts. Probably a better one, I think, to clamber back to sort of pull a Graham Burke one off the line. All sorts happening at the end, but the bottom line is, and there was a great goal for Tyreek Wilson as well, sort of that type of goal that a team scores when they're against the odds. It had to be perfect, technically perfect. And for Dundalk, look, it's a huge result. And the thing is, I think they were the better side in the first half. Stephen Bradley made a double switch at half time. They were under the cosh for a lot of the second half, Dundalk. Graham Burke was very influential. Dundalk had to make changes to try and curb his threat. And they did. And they got the result. And I suppose you're going to talk about, naturally, Pat's losing. If you're looking at the broader league perspective, I suppose, I mean, it would have been a chance for Rovers to slip away at the top in that scenario. But I don't know. They always seem to struggle up here. And even if the pitch is a bit better now, there is just... The Dundalk tend to find the level when Shamrock Rovers come to town, and they've done it again.
Yeah, an absolutely massive win for Kieran Kilduff's men in that one. Well, Dan, as I mentioned here at Richmond Park, St. Pat's missed a chance to possibly go joint top with Shamrock Rovers and cut that gap at the top, but St. Pat's much the better team. The first half, I thought Ryan Edmondson missing a great chance, but a half an hour in, was kind of writing that there was more stoppages than chances in the first half. I think there's been so many goals here in Inchicore in the last couple of weeks, and it was one of those nights where if you were to put money on it, you thought it was going to be a 0-0. Shells, much more energy about them the second half. Joe O'Brien making a few changes. Kieran McElroy going off with a bit of an injury. We'll have to wait and see what the crack is off that one. But it was the substitutes from the Shells' perspective who made the difference. Rodrigo Freitas, who made an instant impact, not the one he would have liked, with a book in the seconds after coming on, with an absolute pinpoint ball cut through the heart of the Pat's defence, and Dan Kelly finished it. He's pretty good goal scoring record so far this season. I think that's him up to 4 or 5 for the season now, and but like the drama didn't stop there. Absolutely incredible scenes at the end. Seán Hoare showing a straight red card for an incident. We didn't exactly get to. There was so many bodies in the box. We didn't really see what it was. Luke Turner hitting the bar late on, but Shells survived. But I think when you're looking at like from Dundalk point of view and from a Shelbourne point of view, each of them did have kind of difficult few weeks. Dundalk with no wins, I think, in 4, and then Shelbourne suffering 4 defeats in a row, and the both of them the last few weeks turning it around. So it just shows you in this league, like the really difference 2 or 3 results in the spring can make. And I suppose from a Pat's point of view, look, they have been tipping along nicely the last couple of weeks. Stephen Kenny didn't make any changes until about 13 minutes to go. I think there was fans here hoping to see a couple of changes a bit earlier, but they'll chalk this one off and look ahead to next week. But from a Shell's perspective, it's a massive win.
17 points from 24 away from home Shells. That's
incredible.
That's the stat. But you talk about teams coming back to form. I mean, Bows getting some positive reports that Bows have possibly played their best football in some time tonight against Drogheda. And the mad point gets pointed out to me, they're 6 points off the top and didn't win for a quarter of the season, effectively, with that 9-game run. So, because I was looking at the halftime stats here, it was 0-0. It was something like 75-25% possession in favour of Bows. And they've had a couple of games like that against Drogheda in recent years where they've got done. But Dale Rooney, I actually did see this goal. It was a real goal of quality from Dale Rooney, the type of goal you want to get maybe in that situation where edge of the box, he drills the left foot right into the bottom corner. It's a huge amount Drogheda can do about it. It's a bit of quality and hurts for them. Obviously, it's a former player. Then Hickey from a corner, 2-0. Alua got one later on, but it does seem like overall they've played quite well, Bows. And I suppose, look, at the glass half full take on their bad run was maybe that is their blip. Well, you look at their situation now, they've got 28 points on the board. Shells are sort of, if Shells win their game in hand, you actually have a little bit of a gap between the top 5 and the bottom 5. But it just goes to show Bows, like, they have the points on the board early. They could probably afford a little bit of a choppy patch, and if they can find any level of consistency now, they're 3 points off Pats, they're 6 off the top. Everything will calm a little bit. When it looked like it was on the edge maybe of tipping the other direction, they had a couple of difficult first halves lately.
Yeah, especially with how that Dailybound crowd can be sometimes. That's a much needed home win for Bows. Dan, the final of the 4 games tonight, absolute heartbreak for Waterford at the RSC, just seconds, I think it was 10-15 seconds away from their first win of 2026 after 16 games, and Henry Ryla with a 94th minute equaliser, Kevin Long with it making it 2-1, 9 minutes to go. And I suppose at that point you would have thought that they'd finally end their wait for the first win of the season. And like, just looking at the table, that's them 9 points behind Sligo Rovers now, and I suppose I know Waterford have a game in hand, but if Sligo win tomorrow, that becomes 12. And we keep saying it's a massive job for Graham Coughlin. It's just after getting a little bit harder tonight.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they have the game on Monday. Yeah, it is very frustrating for them to be so close, and Kevin Long, it was nearly a big moment for him. But I don't know. I think Derry are still a story too, to be honest. Like, they've gone down there. I was speaking to someone who was watching that game, an ex-player in the league. He said Derry were completely non-existent in the second half. They're 1-0 up at half-time. The mad thing was the Henry Ryder scores. I think Michael Duffy was taken off in a reshuffle at 2-1. And there could have been an injury. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Now, Ryder did come on, I think, and score. So maybe there's a degree of vindication there. But look, Derry, it's, again, like, they're a massive disappointment. They continue to be that. But Waterford, I suppose the only positive they can take is, look, they've got a couple of goals. They can welcome Drogheda on Monday, and that is their chance to really eat into that gap. But it is a sickener for them, because they could have built some momentum to change their season maybe tonight. But Derry just can't find any momentum at all.
Yeah, for Waterford, it's a massive one on Monday. Much win be absolutely massive for them. And that one, just briefly on the first division, Dan, kind of 7-goal thriller at UCD. Bray Wanderers winning 4-3. I know Cork City are playing on Saturday. UCD missing the chance to go level for now with Cork City at the top. But Dan, for now, from Oriel Park and from Richmond Park, it's goodbye from us. And you can follow all the latest League of Ireland reactions here across the weekend with that QR code on your screen. But for now, thanks for watching.